My question would be, I guess, and thank you for making this film. It's amazing, and it does kind of rip your guts open. But how did you come by these Marines, these veterans from Iraq to make a film like this?
We came by the Marines by putting up everything from some notices in Camp Pendleton to contacting various veterans organizations, and they organized calls for us, casting calls. We used a casting director who had done quite a lot of work on Jarhead, another Iraqi film, and who knew various outlets and so on. And then, I probably met 60 or 70 Marines, and then chose the ones that we used from that. We did a lot of auditions and tried to get to really know the people more than their acting skills in a way. It was more like, what have you been through, and tell us about yourself, and that kind of thing.
It sounds like you were there for a while. Was this pretty hard on a lot of those guys, aside from the corporal there?
I think they were convinced I was trying to kill them, that they'd survived Iraq, but I was going to get them in. The Humvees actually, were pretty ancient, and it was very rare they were all working, and they would catch fire and not stop and that kind of thing. So it was, I think initially they were very worried about being in Jordan because they couldn't really see that it was very different from Iraq, but in fact the Jordanians were very hospitable, and I think we all sort of got over that, and I think it was hard for some of them reliving the experiences of Iraq, but I think they also drew a lot of comfort from being with each other, and by the end of the film I think they were sorry that it was finishing on the whole.
What exactly do you think or want this film to function as?
It's always a hard question.
Yeah, I suppose you don't really make a film for just one reason, but I think one of the great things film can do is to give information and to at least be the basis of a useful discussion and debate and to paint a clearer picture, even if it's in shades of gray than a kind of black and white picture, and to try and give a pretty accurate picture, I think. And I think that when you have information which is sort of accurate, I think there's a way forward from that, because at least there's a basis of some kind of understanding.
How authentic is the scene when Rodriguez goes to his superior and says he's kind of mentally decompensating, and his superior says, you can only deal with this and see a doctor after your tour is finished? Is that put in for theatrical purpose, or was that you researched and found out that is indeed the Marine protocol?
That was based on our conversations with one of the Marines who was in Kilo Company and in Haditha on that day, who had problems. He'd been through Fallujah before Haditha. Fallujah, was the worst fighting in Iraq, and he had recurring nightmares and had asked to see a psychiatrist and had been refused with exactly those words, which is why we put it in.
And actually there have been a number of news reports even about people who've come back here and are in camps and have been diagnosed with a problem and not being allowed to go to their therapy sessions by some hard-ass sergeant or other. So it's well documented in lots of the news reports. Yes, a couple more questions. I think I'll let you go.
Nick, bravissimo, really. I think you really portray the complexity of the situation and universally of any situation with conflicts and war and bloodshed like this. And I think the naivete that we have as Americans is that we really like to see everything black and white, the good guy and the bad guy. But what you showed us here is that there's difficulty with each segment. You know, I felt bad for the Marines. I didn't think I'd feel that way. I felt bad for the Iraqis. I knew I'd feel that way. And it was just a horrible situation. The only two I didn't feel bad about are the insurgents who were never caught. And in fact, were really in the loop and showing how awful the situation really is with interviewing the little girl. So I thank you for making things clear in their complexity. So.
Last question. Go ahead, Nevada.
How far away from would you say that an event like this was? Does anyone know?
Sorry, I couldn't quite
How
hear
far
that.
away from?
So that was, how far away from like an average occurrence? Do you know?
From the average occurrence.
From an average.
Well, I think they've been, I think the difference between Haditha and other events was that there was a video shot on that day, and the Marine press release, which was shown in the film, was so inaccurate that a journalist very quickly picked up on it. But I think that there are lots of mini Hadithas literally every day or several times a day in Iraq where exactly this chain of events happens, and where innocent civilians get caught up in the crossfire between the insurgency and the army or the armed forces and become radicalized because of it. I mean, I think that the situation has only become much worse as it's progressed and as more innocent people are being killed. And certainly in Iraq, which is entirely tribal, if a member of your tribe or group gets killed by another group, it's an eye for an eye, and and it's almost handed down from generation to generation. So it's when someone gets killed who's innocent by the army, someone's going to pay for that.
Well, I would like to thank you for what I thought was a brilliant film in its nuance and its complexity and its impact. Those are often not things that go together. So thank you very much and for your discussion.